Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a source that honestly feels like a literal survival manual for dealing with one of the most stressful workplace antagonists you can face, the toxic manager. So, if you've ever felt like you're fighting a completely losing battle at work because of bad leadership, well, you are in the exact right place.
Let's start right off the bat with a really tough question. Is a toxic manager currently derailing your career? Look, it is incredibly frustrating when your hard work, your dedication, and your talent are totally overshadowed by a boss who just loves to play games. But there's good news. The text we're breaking down today offers a highly structured approach to solving this high-stakes problem, and it's going to help you turn all that workplace chaos into crystal clear strategy.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our strategic playbook for today. 1. The toxic manager threat. 2. Recognizing political behavior. 3. Protecting your reputation. 4. Managing conflict and boundaries. And finally, 5. Succeeding without playing dirty.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the toxic manager threat.
You know, it's actually really fascinating how the source redefines a term we all usually dread. Office politics is defined here as simply understanding workplace dynamics, rather than manipulating people. It is absolutely vital to realize that grasping why office politics exists is your first line of defense. It's about building your awareness. Actually, scratch that. It's more like upgrading your radar, not getting a license to just go out and manipulate others.
And that builds directly into the 4 unwritten rules of the workplace: influence, perception, trust, and organizational culture. Now, a toxic manager literally thrives in the shadows of these unwritten rules. They will turn organizational culture and perception into weapons just to maintain their control over you. So understanding these 4 pillars helps you clearly see the invisible strings they're trying to pull on a daily basis.
But to survive, you've got to know exactly who you're dealing with, right? The text categorizes these difficult colleagues into 3 specific psychological profiles: narcissists, manipulators, and those displaying passive-aggressive behavior. Identifying your toxic boss's specific psychological profile is absolutely crucial for your survival because it dictates exactly which defensive strategy you're going to need to deploy.
Moving right along to Section 2, recognizing political behavior.
So, what does this look like on the ground? Well, the text lays out some classic toxic manager tactics: credit taking, gossip, favoritism, alliances, and gatekeeping. Imagine for a second, you've just spearheaded this massive, highly successful project. The toxic manager steps into the executive meeting and uses credit-taking to claim your victory while simultaneously using gatekeeping to ensure you aren't even invited to that meeting to speak for yourself. Crazy, right? They use alliances and favoritism to build a wall around themselves and gossip to undermine anyone who challenges them. Recognizing these specific actions is step 1 to stopping them from stifling your progress. Okay, time to talk defense in Section 3, protecting your reputation.
Let's walk through this chronological 4-step defensive strategy straight from the playbook. First, maintain strict professionalism. Second, keep meticulous documentation. Third, ensure clear communication. And fourth, deliver consistent results. So the crucial point here is that step 2, meticulous documentation, is your absolute best shield. When a toxic boss attempts credit-taking or gatekeeping, your well-organized trail of emails, timestamps, and project logs protects your reputation with indisputable hard facts. You literally bring the receipts.
Which leads us to Section 4, managing conflict and boundaries.
When clashes happen, the text outlines 3 key steps for managing them: negotiation, setting boundaries, and resolving disagreements. Think of this as your active toolkit. When you're facing a manipulative or passive-aggressive boss, you don't just absorb the hit. No way. You negotiate expectations clearly, you set firm professional boundaries on what you will and absolutely will not accept, and you actively work to resolve disagreements formally. This lets you push back effectively without ever losing your cool.
The text also points out that to really master this, you need to study realistic workplace scenarios and the lessons learned from them. Because look, these aren't just academic theories. They are highly practical tools meant to be applied to everyday, realistic conflicts. Analyzing these scenarios helps you recognize the patterns in your own office, so you can apply the exact right boundary-setting technique in real time.
All right, the final chapter. Section 5, succeeding without playing dirty.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core contrast of our entire explainer today. On one side, the toxic manager plays dirty with manipulation and schemes. But on the flip side, the text mandates ethical influence. That means focusing on your networking, your credibility, emotional intelligence, and leadership. You do not have to sink to their level to win. You just build a stronger, bulletproof professional identity instead.
Building on that ethical influence, the text lays out the keys to ethical career growth: visibility, sponsorship, performance, and promotions. If your boss is gatekeeping you, well, your countermove is building visibility outside of your immediate team. Finding external sponsorship, mentors and advocates in other departments, can completely insulate you from a toxic manager. By maintaining high performance and leaning on those external sponsors, you secure your promotions and entirely bypass your bad boss's blockade.
I really want to highlight this powerful concluding principle from the text: long-term success through integrity and strategic thinking. True victory over a toxic manager isn't about getting revenge or out-scheming them at their own game. It's about achieving your own long-term career success while keeping your integrity perfectly intact.
We've mapped out the battlefield, we've identified the threats, and handed you both the defensive and offensive playbook. So I'll leave you with this final thought. How will you apply these unwritten rules tomorrow? Don't just let workplace dynamics happen to you. Take this knowledge, protect your reputation, and go actively change your workplace dynamics